Tappei has just released Arc 7 Chapter 86, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. I highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 85 summary. Anyways, let's begin. Ismail was the hero of the One-Eyed tribe. His blue eye is fixated on the future. As the name suggests, the One-Eyed tribe people only have one eye. Considering the fact that most races have two eyes, it is unlikely that having one eye will aid in survival. However, does that mean that this race is pitiful? No. In exchange for having one eye, they gain abilities such as detecting heat sources and concentrations of mana. In addition, they are physically strong, unlike the other races with powers in their eyes. Due to this, the One-Eyed tribe could produce excellent warriors. At the age of 21, Ismail wielded his battle axe. Others would shudder at his presence. The eyes are a powerful feature of the One-Eyed tribe, and Ismail had a unique eye color, blue, which earned him the nickname Giant Eye. Due to the rebellion that sprung up in Wallachia, this allowed a potential for Ismail to fight. With the battle axe in hand and the pride of Ismail, he joined the rebellion against the emperor. In his journey for strong opponents, he would even strike down the 9 divine generals who were at the peak of military strength. Therefore, even Ismail was looking for the dark-haired child. The black-haired boy had a level of legitimacy around him. Whether or not he actually existed was a different story, and it was the reason for the upheaval across the country. The people of the empire must be strong. This is what Ismail was told. Thereby he would follow this rule, and those who do not understand it are not qualified to partake in this upheaval. With that, Ismail grabs his axe and proclaims that he will be the one who rules in the Wallachian Empire. With that, Ismail jumps high up on a wall, startling the Imperial soldiers who were there. However, they are too slow to react and are cleaved with his axe. As the 5 soldiers who were hit died, Ismail blinks and his vision changes. Instead of seeing sources of heat and mana, he now sees colours, red, yellow and blue. These colours represent emotions of the soldiers he sees. He can see their history, their will to fight, and even the skills they may have mastered. With that, he states that the cowards should be gone. Ismail immediately paths towards a blue light, representing someone who was trying to flee. Ismail was mad. This was the imperial capital? Why were they scared? Ismail angrily pointed from atop the wall with his battle axe. With his eye, he spotted the Crystal Palace in the distance. He would easily reach it in 3 minutes, and then killed the emperor. However, Ismail expressed his disappointment. After all, there was no honor in oppressing weaklings. Ismail felt betrayed. This is where the powerful people would reign and live, yet around him was only cowards who were trying to flee. As time progressed, more One-Eyed tribe members climbed atop the wall and killed the fleeing soldiers on the wall. One soldier was thrown to the floor, and Ismail considered the man to be pathetic as the man continued to beg for his life. Ismail raised his axe and told the man to at least die with grace as a soldier. However, the soldier stated that he was forced to wear the armor in return for being let out of prison, and that he wasn't a soldier. Ismail stopped his attack just before he cleaved off the man's head. Ismail's eyes can see emotions, and he knew that the man was not lying. Ismail then looked around. The soldiers on the walls were all criminals, and that's the reason why they all had the blue color around him. They were all given armor. They weren't soldiers. Ismail ponders what this means. Then he realized only the One-Eyed tribe members and the criminals were on the walls, and Ismail heard a word in the distance. This word was "burn them all together." Ishmael's ears picked up the voice, which immediately made him alert as it carried some form of power despite it sounding and lacking seriousness. Ishmael then looked up to the sky and saw a woman with an eye patch above them. Ishmael then kicked off the floor and dashed towards the woman. However, soon Ishmael's vision was covered in white. Ishmael sat up and coughed. His body was in tatters. It was a miracle he survived. No, he survived because he used his battle axe to protect himself. Ishmael realized that he was the only one who survived, as he looks towards the wall and sees that everyone else was being burned. Most of them died without even knowing what hit them. A voice calls out that there will be survivors. Then the man says that Ishmael is bad. The man revealed himself. He had orange hair and an axe over his shoulder. The man had cold eyes, and Ishmael had a hunch that this was the man who concocted that plan. As Ishmael goes to ask, the man says that it wasn't him who did it. It was actually a monster that burned you all. However, the man says that if he wants, he can have a grudge against him. Ishmael looks into Todd's eyes and is astonished that Todd is blue. Red means that you have the power to fight, yellow is if you're anxious, and blue is if you don't want to fight and you want to flee. Yet this man who cornered Ishmael and his entire clan was blue. Ishmael believes that the man is not a warrior, he's not a coward, but he's something more. Ishmael, despite being heavily injured, tries to fight, and he swings his melted battle axe at Todd. Todd wonders how strong someone can be if they only have one eye. Todd throws a package which contains spices, which disorientates Ishmael. Ishmael immediately closed his eye and they started burning from the spices that Todd threw. However, he never opened his eye again as he was blown away by cannonball shots which blew him apart. Todd exhaled as he looked at the corpse of his enemy and mutters that you always need to have insurance just in case. Todd signals to the soldiers who were above him. These were the men that were launching the cannonball attacks at Ishmael. Todd's plan was simple, to kill the spearman. That's the person who's strong and charges forwards. If you nullify the strongest threat, you can then beat back the enemy forces. Even though the one-eyed tribe people were killed, there was no shortage of enemies and different tribes. Due to this, the ground was pasted with different coloured blood and limbs from different races. Todd, however, doesn't believe that any of these tribes will have any effect anyway. Todd looks around. There are 5 points that circle the imperial capital, 5 towers, and at each of these towers there's someone as strong as Arakia. From those summits, they will kill all who try and climb the walls of the imperial capital. Todd knows that they have a plan for everything. A plan to keep them off the walls, a plan to keep those who get too close, a plan to kill those that they fail to kill, and of course, a plan to escape. Todd wonders when he can meet Katia again. He's back in the capital, but he still hasn't seen her. Todd wonders how many more people need to die as he moves towards the next location. How long till someone drops their weapon? With that, Todd mutters that it's enough, you battle-hungry freaks, and with that, the scene changes. We see Kathma state that they won't go any further, as he unleashed his insects on the horsemen. No matter what, Kathma would not let the rebels infiltrate the city. Kathma has witnessed what Vincent had achieved, and therefore he would protect it. The person fighting Kathma says he doesn't dislike it, as Kathma looks at the short man. Kathma takes off his cloak, revealing 6 wings, and introduces himself as Kathma. The short man then responds, "I am Garfiel Tinsel, the gorgeous tiger." Garfiel then says that he shouldn't reveal his name, but he has no choice but to do it as a warrior. With that, Garfiel readies his twin shields as they clank together, and the chapter ends. So yeah, it does look like we're in the final hurdle of Arc 7. This is it. Garfiel has reached the imperial capital of Wallachia. It looks like everyone is going to converge on this position. And of course, Rem is in the imperial capital as well. Todd killed some random guy, Ismail, who has more lore than Flugel and Shula combined. I'm not going to lie, like 75% of the chapter was Ismail. So that's really interesting. And I mean, here we are. This is it. Everything should be getting spicier from this point onwards.